Hello, this is the Peavey amp that I'm working on for a friend of mine. It's a Rage 158 Peavey amp it has a Transtube distortion in it. I have it partially assembled here. I wanted to point out something that I found. When I plugged into the input jack, it was real, it was popping and crackling and doing all kinds of stuff. I thought I knew what the problem was, and I think this is what it is. Usually these input jacks or jacks on a lot of guitar amps are soldered right to the circuit board, and then they're fastened to the front chassis. And I'm not a real big fan of this kind of approach. I think it's kind of cheap. It's always better when you have a nice solid jack fastened right to the chassis so that you're not flexing the contacts on the circuit board. Because what happens a lot of times, I've seen this on keyboards, I've seen it on guitar amps, is repeatedly plugging a cable into the connector stresses the solder connections on the backside. And if you can, hopefully this will show up on the camera, but you can see there's like these tiny fractures. I'm going to try to point with a screwdriver here. There's tiny fractures right. I saw one right there on that solder connection, on this solder connection, on this one here. I'm not sure about that one, but basically the jack gets flexed every time you plug in a cable, and there's stress on these connections, and then they often crack or they separate from the circuit board. I've seen this on keyboards, the power jack, because the ones that have an external power adapter, repeatedly plugging in the power jack, the power plug, eventually it stresses those connections. So yeah, hopefully this will show up on the video. I'm going to try different angles here, but my plan to fix this is basically just to reheat all these connections, flow some fresh solder over them, and just look and see if I see any other ones. These other ones look okay. There's a jack for headphones, and there's a jack for like a CD player. These ones seem to be okay. I might look at them with a magnifying glass or microscope or something. Maybe just touch those up as well. The pots seem to be a little bit scratchy. I might spray some contact cleaner in those. But this is basically the whole board. It's fairly simple board. The main power amp chip is this one here. It's a TDA. Forget the number, but you can read it on there. That's like the main chip that drives the speaker. It has a blue marble speaker in it. I'll do a demo when I get this all put together though. But I just wanted to point out, if you have equipment, guitar amps or keyboards, and there's intermittent connections or they're scratchy or whatever, it's a real common point of failure is the solder connections on the circuit board. When they get flexed, they get they can crack everything. So anyways, I'm going to retouch this up and put it all back together, test it out. Supposedly it sounds pretty good when it's working right. It has this Transtube distortion circuit in it. This is one of the, this was an amp made when Peavey was still manufacturing in the US. So anyways, hope you find this useful. I'm gonna touch this up, shoot a second video demo of it that should fix it though. So it's a simple fix. Thanks for watching. Bye.